This is as good a spot as any. Try this spot. Time to take the bike off road, see what this thing's really capable of. Yeah, here we go. Woo! Ooh, it's a powerful bike. Oh! Hey, buenos dias, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasó, amigos? Welcome back to the channel, John's Moto Garage. Back by popular demand here today, I'm going to bring you another video on the Honda CB1100. Now, it is not for lack of desire that I haven't done another video on this bike. It's just that I've been wicked busy. But I had tons of people asking and requesting more videos on the motorcycle, and I'm more than happy. It is my pleasure to jump back on the saddle of the CB1100 and take it for a spin. So today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why I think this bike was a failure, why this bike was a disaster, at least stateside in the US. 3 reasons why the bike did not take off and do too well here in the US. Without further delay, let's jump into it. John's Moto Garage, the CB1100, a massive failure. Oh, what the heck? There's a car right there. All right, we're gonna start out at the Dragstrip, see if we can get a 0 to 60 going here. I don't think I did a 0 to 60 on my last video. Woo! Yeah, she's fast, all right. All right, let's start off with a bang, a nice little wheelie. Drop a comment below if you want a wheelie tutorial specific to this motorcycle, because I'll say it's not really easy to do, but it is possible, obviously. So I'll start off by saying, obviously, this is totally speculation on my part. I didn't spend days and hours and months researching the internet, scouring every article to see really, you know, all the data points as to why this bike didn't take off. But a few things really jumped out to me. So these are my reasons why I think this bike wasn't a huge success, at least here stateside. All right, so a brief recap. This is a 2014 CB1100 I picked up used recently on Craigslist. Kind of fell into my lap. I wasn't planning to get the bike, but after I bought it and rode it, I completely fell in love. Honda released this in 2010. I believe they brought it stateside to the US in 2013. They made a few revisions and updates and upgrades in 2014. And then as quickly as they brought it to US, they took it out and got rid of it in the US. And I think 2014 was the last year they offered it in the US. And then it was no longer available for a couple years. In 2017, they brought back the CB1100EX, I believe. So it is technically available. And I don't know, here in 2020, can you still get this motorcycle stateside? I have no idea. Drop a comment below, let me know. So number one reason why I think this bike did not take off, and this is based on some of my research and also a lot of the comments that I'm seeing and stuff on the forums, is price point. I think it came in at around $12,000, a little bit more if you add up for the deluxe version. And I think the issue is at that price point, you have too many options. Now for me, honestly, 13,000 bucks initially for a brand new motorcycle, I didn't have a ton of sticker shock when I saw that number. But keep in mind, that's coming from a dude who, while I don't buy brand new bikes, I'm looking at things like Harleys and the new Triumph Rocket 3. You know, I'm seeing bikes, the Indian Challenger. So these are bikes that are running, you know, upwards of 30,000 bucks. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not going out and buying these bikes brand new for 30,000 bucks. But so when I saw 12,000, I thought, that doesn't seem like such a bad price point. But if you take a step back and look at it, what else can you get for $12,000? Well, you can basically get almost whatever you want, right? I mean, basically take your pick. At that price point, it is a little bit of a premium price point when it comes down to all the options. There we go. So I think for a lot of people, that price point was just a little too high. And another thing that leads me to believe that is, I was hearing tons of people saying how tons of people were saying they got these as leftovers, you know, a few years later off the showroom floor for $6,000, $7,000, right? So they weren't selling initially, but obviously once Honda offers a steep discount, it's almost too hard to pass up. Which leads me to point number 2, which is it's a very niche market that Honda was targeting with this motorcycle. It's a really cool retro old school throwback bike, but it's a little bit heavy for a sport bike. It's not quite a cruiser, you know, it just kind of falls into that narrow market. And Honda definitely stayed true to the roots, to the old school styling, which, like I mentioned in my last video, when I first saw this motorcycle, I thought, hey, that's really rad. It looks like an old school CB1100. They definitely stick to the classic look. But aside from that, it was, you know, kind of fell off my radar. So it's a very narrow market that they're targeting. It's got a premium price point, and so that makes it a challenging buy, you know, a tough sell, especially stateside with all the options and how spoiled we are. And then that leads me to point number 3. Let me get off the freeway here. Oh, it's cold, dude. I'm freaking chilly. All right, and that leads me to point number 3. The motorcycle, I mentioned this before, it's just kind of bland. Both the bike itself visually and then also on paper, it's a somewhat bland motorcycle. Again, performance wise, I want to say it has between 80 and 90 horsepower. I don't know if I got that right in the last video. But you know, it's not your top performer. It's a little heavy, and looks wise, it's you know, it doesn't have all those creature comforts that a lot of people demand, again, especially at a premium price point. And while there's nothing quite like this bike, you do have other options, right? BMW offers some old school looking motorcycles. You've got your Ducati Scramblers, you've got Triumph, you've got Moto Guzzi. So there are other bikes out there that kind of, you know, fit that cafe racer old school style look. And so again, combined with the price point, the premium tag, and everything else, looking at it, it just gives people too many options and makes this one a hard sell, all things considered. Now here's what I think Honda could have done differently. They have their RS version, which when I saw that for the first time, I was blown away. I was like, dude, that's the CB1100 that I want, because you get the old school cool, but then you also add the rad factor, the cool factor to it. You get rid of some of the blandness of this motorcycle, and I don't think they ever brought that stateside though. I think that's part of the problem. Had they brought that one stateside and had it available in the showroom, gotten people in there looking at that motorcycle, and then maybe that one's slightly out of their budget and they see this one and think, okay, with an aftermarket exhaust, a new bars, you know, fender eliminator kit, I can make that one look almost as rad as the RS version. Who knows, maybe they'd be getting more people in there doing it that way. Again, obviously pure speculation on my part. Can't tell if I know that guy. But those are 3 reasons, you know, possibly many or others, or maybe those have nothing to do with it, why I think this bike did not take off quite as well as Honda was probably hoping. And yeah, why sadly it's not as popular as I think it should be. I do still stand behind. I think this is totally underrated. Such a rad motorcycle. Leave a comment below, what do you guys think? I'm obviously no expert. I haven't spent tons and tons of time on the forums or, you know, doing the research here, but those are just some pretty big ones that popped out at me. Drop a comment below, why do you think this bike didn't take off as well as it should have or could have, and let me know. Leave a comment below as well if you think I should do a wheelie tutorial specific to this motorcycle. Like I said, it's not necessarily easy to get this up on one wheel, but it is totally doable, and once you figure it out, yeah, it's just a matter of getting the right formula. But if you'd like to see that, let me know, and I can probably make that happen. John's Moto Garage, I appreciate all the support. Like and subscribe if you dig the content. We'll catch you on the next one. Adios, hasta la próxima. Nos vemos. Got my tripod, perfect. Try this way.
Maybe I have a little more.